All right, welcome back to another Time Out with Timothy. A little bit later this week, one day, had a holiday, so we hope everybody had a great Labor Day. We took it off and just had a little relaxing time here around the house. Hope you guys did too. Hope you maybe got an opportunity to enjoy a little family, a little R&R that was, I'm sure, well deserved. If you had to work, hey, at least you had a job, right? So look for that blessing in everything that you possibly can. So without any further ado, I'll move on into to what I want to talk about this week. I do want to say, don't forget, if you're finding what I'm doing here enjoyable, entertaining, or even thought-provoking in any way, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification. I'm trying to do these about once a week, trying to grow this thing out a little bit. Hopefully it can help some people out and encourage some real conversation, not just the platitudes that you see a lot of people do, or me trying to convince you to think a certain way and you coming back at me trying to convince me to think a certain way. No, we need real conversations about why people think the way they think, and then we can understand each other, whether we agree or not. That's going to be a much better way to live. So we'll move on into it. I think most of us would agree that society today is not in as good a shape as it was, say, 20 years ago. There's many different speculative reasons why people would say that. Some would say it's because we've moved away from Christian principles. I would be one that would tend to agree with that. I think we have changed our idea of morality, and that's not been good for us as a society. Others would point towards race relations and how everything is so color-coded that it's an us against them kind of thing. Whether you're white against black or Asian against Jew. I'm just making things up here. I don't know. I know, with some of my experiences in life, you don't even have to be different ethnicities. I've seen Spanish groups that were very racist towards other Spanish groups. So that's a whole nother conversation that I need to stop talking about and move on to what I'm really focusing on here. Another reason we could say society is not as good as it was is the excessive role government has taken in our day-to-day lives. Or better yet, I should say, the excessive role that we have given government in our day-to-day lives. And that one will come up a little bit more as we go through this thing. But what I really want to focus on today is the attack on the family. Family is being attacked. It's being attacked through many different ways. I'm not going to talk about but a couple of them because I think those are at the core of it. The real root causes or the real root attacks that are being done. So I'm going to focus on one thing that is definitely an attack that's been done on the family today, and that's divorce. Originally, marriage in the Bible was set up to be permanent, to be forever, between a man and a woman, with only one justifiable reason for divorce, and that being one of the two cheated on the other one, adultery. We have changed that drastically. It is now normal, and if not expected, that you will go through a divorce. Everybody will go through a divorce. I am not happy to admit I have been through a divorce, and it is one of the worst experiences of my life. Something that I know is not good for anybody, much less society as a whole. Marriage is supposed to be forevermore. And we have decided as a society that marriage is not worth fighting for. That it is fine to split for any reason, no matter what that reason might be. It is okay and permissible if you just decide you don't want to be married anymore. Whether you got kids or not. If you just decide you don't want to be doing it no more, don't do it anymore. It's that simple. That's what we've come to. We enter marriages many times with the idea, well, I can always get a divorce if I don't like it. The marriage is the foundation of a family. And it takes a strong marriage to build a strong family. Any marriage that is entered into with an exit plan already in place is not going to be strong. I'm not even talking about a prenup agreement. That's really putting it down in legal form that you got an exit plan in place. But if you're entering that marriage already thinking that you can get a divorce down the road if you want to, then you're not committed to it. You're not committed to fight for it. When, not if, when it becomes unpleasant and hard and difficult, you'll take the easy way out and you'll move on, and that family is going to come apart. Hopefully that family at that point does not have kids involved, but regardless of the point of this conversation, it is going to affect society one way or the other. Now, another way that family is being attacked is through the family structure. And this one's going to get a little bit more political, I guess, whether you want it to or not. Traditional family is no longer the goal. And what I mean by traditional family is this. The man is set up as the head of the household with the final decision-making authority. The woman is set up as the main support to the man, but is an equal partner in this arrangement. Yes, the man may have ultimate decision-making authority if the two can't come to an agreement, but the goal is for these two to work together, come to an agreement through mutual respect and understanding, talking things out, bouncing ideas back and forth, figuring out what's going to work best for their family. Then the kids come into it. They're expected to respect their parents, honor their parents' authority, and pull their weight in the household to help the family out. We used to call it doing your chores. I wonder how many kids today even know what chores are. You know, it used to, you had a list of things you had to do, and you did them every week. And when your parents came to you and said they needed you to do something else, it wasn't a debate, and it wasn't an argument. You knew you had to do it. Kids today don't expect to do anything but go to school, come home, do their homework. They've done their part at that point. You're supposed to do everything else as the mom and dad. And if you do ask them to do something else, they expect some type of pay for it, whether that be an allowance, whether that be a special benefit, whatever. They expect something. You know, that's not the way it's supposed to be. If you want some examples of this, let's think about sitcoms. Now, sitcoms are a dying breed, but that's another conversation as well. But old shows that I remember, not as they were new, I'm not that old, but I remember reruns of shows like Leave It to Beaver. You know, that showed a more traditional family unit. And I'm not even talking about the mom staying home and the dad going off to work. I'm just talking about the way the family worked together to get things done. Then you started transitioning to shows like The Cosby Show. That one still held on to some tradition. You know, Heathcliff and Claire still ran the house. The kids respected their authority, those type things. And Heathcliff had authority over the kids, but Claire was the definitive authority figure in that show. And it was obvious. Another show around that same time period, maybe a little later, was Full House. You know, you remember the ones with the dad and the two uncles raising the kids after the mom died. You know, sad situation if it was to happen in real life. Cool to see the uncles coming in to help out. But every one of those shows, at some point in time in that show, one, if not all three of those men, those father figures, was found apologizing to the kids about something they had said or done. And the kids teaching those adults some life lesson. And I'm not saying that you can't learn from your kids, but if your kids are teaching you life lessons day in and day out, then your family is flipped. And you need to think about that and figure out how to fix it. Then it evolved even further into the Disney shows. The shows that made me sick. I couldn't stand when my kids had them on. I even would make them turn them off at times. You know, shows like Good Luck Charlie or Girl Meets World, the couple that I can remember. I thankfully don't have much exposure to them past that point, because these shows were so far slanted. The father figures in them were weak, stupid, pure comic relief, constantly doing dumb things, and they were always submitting to the authority of the mother. Always submitting to the authority of the mother. The mother was the dominant figure, always right, rarely wrong. And just the way they made the men look in these shows was sickening. But this was done, in my opinion, as part of a systematic attack. I believe it's a spiritual attack. You can call it a societal attack, whatever you want to call it. But it's an attack on the family unit, and the father in the family has probably been the most attacked out of it. But I'm not going to go into deep on that. Just kind of hitting some bullet points here as we move through this one. Maybe again it'll spark some conversation in the comments or something like that. Now we've moved into more open attacks. A lot of progressive groups are against what they call the traditional nuclear family. The organization Black Lives Matter had that on their website, as one of their stated goals was the destruction of the nuclear family. Now, they did take that down when they started getting some heat from it, but they didn't change their goal. That's still part of their goal, you know. And there's other organizations, and they attack the traditional family in the name of human rights, of all things. It's women's rights, it's gay rights, it's trans rights, you know, etc. And again, I'm not focusing on any of that stuff right now. Every human has the same human rights. They need to be honored, they need to be respected. The family needs to be honored, and it needs to be respected even more. Many more issues about how the family is being attacked could be brought up, you know, but I'm not going to for the sake of time. I'm going to keep this relatively short conversations. But, you know, just to throw a couple out there: welfare, incentivizing fatherless homes. That's one attack on the family. All of them, though, they boil down to the two that I've talked about, where you're attacking the marriage as the foundation of the family, and then you're attacking the structure of how the family is supposed to work. If you take out those, then you've taken out the family, and that's the ultimate goal of a lot of these systems. The result is a weak family and societal collapse. And, you know, this is not just my opinion. There is data that supports this. I'm not going to go into it again on this short show, but if you want to look into it, go to fatherhood.org. That show shows many data points in visual, simple to understand formats that you can browse through pretty quickly and get an idea of what I'm talking about, how having a fatherless home affects the family and the children that come from that family. So family is critical to society. It provides the model that society should follow, lets us see how we should function to be a unit, to be together, to be successful. We are trying to replace family with government programs, and it is weakening our family, weakening our government, weakening our society all at the same time. We are killing our society because we are killing our families. Prayerfully, we can turn this around. That's my spiel for today. Again, I hope it brings some thought to your mind, gives you something to mull over. Whether you change your thoughts or opinions is neither here nor there right now. I want to get some conversations going, help some people out, share some understanding. And if you like it, please like the video. Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you can see these when they come out. Again, I'm trying to do these weekly right now as I get this thing started. All right, please share it with your friends and your family, and God bless. Have a great week.